Hi everybody, welcome to this Master Division free-to-play qualifying round playthrough for the Winter Springs tournament here on the BK Golf Clash YouTube channel. Please give me a thumb up on the video if you don't mind, and make sure you're subscribed as well. Help me get to 20,000 subs. Free-to-play shots here, ball and club info coming up next. Always advised to take a few practice tokens if you can and put in some tweaks as well. Get all the details correct, very important up in Master. Plenty of drops here though, even with free to play, and of course free entry means the brackets will be slightly easier. Now the best chances of course to increase your drop rate would be by using premium balls. If you want to investigate text guides, two of the leading guide makers post regularly on our Facebook group, so head over there, BK Golf Clash, and if you want to pay for text guides with paid ball options, the links will be over there for you. Here come the details of the balls used in this video and the clubs you will need. 2 Titans, 6 Kingmakers and 1 Berserker. Always advisable to hit a few in practice though in addition to that. In terms of clubs you need APOC 4 and above, quarterback 9 plus, sniper 9 or 10, then either Cat 6 or Big Dog 7 will help you on hole 3 and hole 9, and for your long iron I'd go with Grizzly 8 or 9. On hole number 1 we're going to first find our position. You're going to need the APOC, Kingmaker and Grizzly for your approach shot. P3 max with APOC 5 and above, bullseye directly over the rough line. APOC 4 you will stretch out 1.7 rings to find that point. Then add spin. 5.8 top spin, 2 bars left spin. Then we are going to adjust max plus 20. You may need to zoom out as I do in the video here because the trees might obscure your view of the rings, so just be ready for that. So max plus 20, power 3. After adjustment with APOC 4 only, you will need to push up either 6 yards if you are still in plus yards, or if you don't have a plus yard reference, then push up 1.7 rings after you adjust. Full overpower, slow needle, half a ball of curl to the left, and as always, concentrate on hitting perfect. If you are worried about a great right, particularly with APOC 4 or 5, you could go with a little bit more left curl just to guard against it, but we're finding the fairway nicely. Drive distance around 405 yards. Second shot we're going to play rings from min, so find the min line, then here I push up 10 rings from min. What I would do though is advise you to set your spins first. You can see I push up first here, but I would actually advise you to set your spins first. You can see here in the end I settle with 1.8 backspin. The reason I ask you to do that first is because then if you hit a glitchy spot you can then adapt quicker. So 1.8 backspin, ball guide to the pin. For me 10 rings from min was working nicely with this drive distance, but if you find it's glitchy then push up a few more rings, get round any glitchy spots on the green. Try and keep with 1.8 backspin. For 10 rings up from min, this one is going to be played 13% slider, minus 10 elevation, and we're using power 2 numbers and Grizzly 9 numbers in your app. Making our adjustment here, and then we're going to hit perfect, and the ball will bounce very nicely, takes the uphill slope, and here we're avoiding the glitch with our setup, and we're dropping it with a lovely eagle to start. On this par 3 we're going to play a simple one-on-one adjustment. First we're going to add spin though, 4.2 backspin, 3 bars side spin to the right. Now it's a bit of a weird setup here, but we're looking at the rings, red ring touching the rough, and then look at the blue ring there in relation to that patch of snow. There's a good reference there, you can see a bit of the snow just juts out into the blue ring. Here's your ball guide reference. Second bounce in the middle of that light green square column, and the third bounce and the rest of the ball guide up against the join to the dark green squares. So pause the video and take a look at that in more detail. Here I go one-on-one, and I like the adjustment here. It bounces where we're aiming. So 11.7 in wind, you're going to go 11.7 rings. First pull made over the bullseye there, that is 6 rings. Then the second pull here, you can see I'm also pulling over the bullseye for the remaining 5.7. So make sure you replicate that as well. We missed this one on the right, so a potential tweak for this one would be just to reduce the amount of right spin slightly. So maybe try 2.8 right spin rather than 3, based on the miss in the video. But I like the simple one-on-one adjustment here, just needs a small tweak. On the drive here, we're going to play no movement target, and we're going to use a Titan to get more distance on the second shot. So leave the target where it is, then we're going to add 5.8 topspin and 2 bars side spin to the left. You can see the ball guide will point as shown once you've added your spin. Then we're going to adjust maximum distance 0 elevation, so max plus 0. Take care when adjusting here. You are going to adjust kind of up this little grassy slope slightly, but it's going to be okay. There's been plenty of room here in a couple of test shots that I've done. So max plus 0, power 3. If you are using APOC 4, you would then push up 1.7 rings. Otherwise, APOC 5 plus, you leave it where it is. Centre ball shot, no overpower, no curl, just hit perfect. And you can see they're bouncing very nicely on the fairway and over the rough and rolling down here towards the rough on the right. Drive distance around 375. Second shot, you need the big dog or the cataclysm. I'm using 7 top spin and 2 left spin. The more top spin you have, the better. 7 is recommended, but 6 would do, but you may have a trickier wedge. So add your spin. Stretch out to absolute max into overpower, find the position in the middle of the fairway, then let the target go to the rest position. We adjust maximum distance 5% elevation. So max plus 5. You need to choose obviously the wood club that gives you the distance and top spin combined. I would go with more top spin over accuracy, because we're going to play a max overpower, but it's going to be a slow needle shot here, so you've still got a good chance of hitting perfect. You can see here I'm going with half a ball curl to the left, no push up, we want to leave it where it is for that slow overpower needle. Max plus 5 takes us very nicely up the slope. If you've got more top spin, use it, because it's going to make the wedge easier. Now we're going to play Endbringer School here. As you can see, this one is exactly 100% distance. If you're not familiar with this method, check out my tutorial video on the channel home page, Quickfire Endbringer method. No spin shot here, but look where the ball guide is. It's very tough to see it, so I've given you a zoom in there. Because there is tailwind, you don't want to be coming in too hot on this one, so that's why I'm positioning my ball guide a little bit short of the cup. Instead of the usual elevation though, because this is uphill, for me 5% elevation was working with power 2 numbers. And it's a good reference here because, like I said, I'm exactly at max distance of the club in terms of where the pin stands. This is a true 100% slider shot. Okay, with less top spin you may be over 100%. But with a bit more top spin you would obviously be within that. Drops nicely for the eagle. We've got a hole in one here. We're going to find our position first with the sniper, and we're looking at the plus yards. It's going to be at the top of plus 5 with sniper level 10, at the top of plus 7 if you've got sniper level 9. So then we're finding our position with the blue ring touching the bunker. I like that side-on view. You can set up very accurately then. 5 backspin, half a bar of left spin is what you need on this one. 5 backspin, half a bar of left spin. Then we adjust max plus 15, power 3. Important not to have any 1201 here, because otherwise you may land up too high, and in extreme wind cases you may land in the bunker. So take care of your pull angle and your setup point here. Very crucial to replicate all the details. So max plus 15, power 3. You will need wind angle tweaks on this one. If you have more crosswind angle, I would suggest you go with 1 or 2 clicks of OP and 1 or 2 clicks of right curl. I have dropped in other wind angles as well, but there's a good starting point. On the drive here, we're going to need the APOC and a Kingmaker. Second shot is going to be with the Grizzly. Red ring touching the rough on the right at the top of plus 10 with APOC 5 and 6. Then we're going with 5.5 top spin and 3 right spin. APOC 4 will have different ring references. You will set up at P3 max. APOC 7 and 8 also at plus 10, but with different ring references because you have more accuracy. Max plus 10, power 3 is the adjustment. No push-up needed at all, but we are going to play with some curl. 0.8 ball curl to the right. So look at the left edge of the Kingmaker touching the inside wall of the adjustment ring, and just before the circle drops is your overpower reference. We're going to need to write down our drive distance here. You may get a glitch roll to around 390, 395, but I've still dropped the second shot with a longer drive. In this case, 378 yards is going to be 75% slider, minus 5 elevation, power 2 settings. We're going to need 3 top spin with a drive of this distance, set up with the yellow ring touching the rough line and the ball guide going to the pin. If you have a longer drive, you will need a bit more top spin. So for a drive of 395, I've dropped the shot here with 3.5 top spin instead. So just be prepared to vary the top spin to replicate the position of the rings here to get the ball guide to the pin. So 378, going to be 75 slider, minus 5 elevation, power 2 settings, and it's 2% slider per yard. So if you go to 380, you'd be nearer, so you would only need 71% slider, and so on. Replicate the adjustment method I'm using here, same with the rest of the shots in this playthrough. If I'm pulling over the bullseye, you need to do the same as well. Perfect ball is going to have a good chance for a drop here, and this is what we do exactly here, falling nicely for the eagle. If you're enjoying the free content here on the channel and want to support the channel and help keep it free for everybody, you can do so by making a small donation in one of 3 ways. You can click the thanks button underneath the video. You can use the PayPal link in the description down below, or you can become a channel member as well if you wish. On the drive here, we're going to play with our Apocalypse, finding our position at P3 max with APOC 5 plus. With APOC 5 and 6, you'll have your clear ring touching the rough on the left. APOC 4, you will have to stretch out 1.7 rings. You can look at the second bounce before spin, just before I added the spin there. We're going to add a spin now, 5.8 top spin, 3 bars side spin to the left. So tricky position to find. Make sure you've got your equivalent ring references ready if you're using a different club level than APOC 5 or 6. The adjustment is max plus 10, power 3. Max plus 10, power 3. You see I'm having to zoom out here so I can do this in one pull. If you've got APOC 4, you then need to push up 6 yards or 1.7 rings if you're out of plus yardage. Max overpower, slower needle, 1 ball curl to the left. So look at the edge of the Kingmaker touching the outside wall of the adjustment ring to the left. Minor great left, minor great right have both been fine with APOC 6, untested of course with other club levels. Drive distance around 430. Second shot here is a brilliant chance for an albatross, but you've got to hit perfect. I set this shot up 6 or 7 times, great balled every single one. 5 backspin, 1 left spin, and aim as shown. With your spin added, you want the ball guide to be pointing at the pin, but stopping just under 1 green square short. You'll see here, I just give you a zoom in there, depending where I'm wanting to set up. That's the offset that I'm using because we've got tailwind here. We're using landing position plus yards, plus 5 with sniper 10, that would be plus 7 with sniper 9, playing this 82% slider, minus 20% elevation. This one does play uphill. Like I said though, hitting perfect with a wood club in master on a second shot, very difficult. I great balled every single one on the left and the right. I do believe a perfect would be in, or if not extremely close. Precision ball play would be encouraged here, just to guarantee the perfect on the second shot. Like I said, with a free to play, non-precision, very tough to hit perfect. On this par 4, we're going to show you 2 examples, one with the highest wind possible, which is this one, and one with the lowest wind possible with the Berserker. Plus 25 with APOC 5 plus, blue ring touching the tip of that rock with APOC 5 and 6. Here with this wind strength going with 5 top spin, 2 bars side spin to the left. and adjusting max plus 10 P5. With APOC 4, you would set up at P5 max rest position. You will have different ring references if using a different level of apocalypse other than 5 and 6 because of different accuracies. Pushing up here with APOC 5 and 6 is going to be a total of 5 rings. Then we're going to take our shot, max overpower, slow needle, 3/4 ball curl to the left. Might need some wind angle tweaks, especially up in Master with big wind strengths. Wind angles will make increasingly more difference, but this one bounces very nicely, clips the rough or the snow, and rolls out to a good wedge position. Now, if you've got low wind here, this shot is going to work as well, but we're using a different amount of topspin. So here I'm going 5.8 topspin, 2 left spin, cutting out the adjustment to save time, but it's exactly the same adjustment, exactly the same push-up, 5 rings with APOC 5 and 6. 3/4 ball curl to the left once more, still a slowish needle, even with a lower wind strength. 13.6 is the lowest wind possible, still going with max plus 10 P5, and you can see here the increased topspin takes us out very nicely, and we've got a wedge once again. Looking at that wedge very quickly, going to play Endbringer School, no spin method, 20% elevation. This is from the high wind example, and you can see here it's going to be around 50%. We've got tutorial videos on the Endbringer method. If you don't know it, check that out as well. But here playing 50% slider, 20% elevation, P5 numbers. Allow yourself enough time to pull the rings. Obviously, it's going to be a fair amount of rings, particularly with higher level Endbringers. But playing 20% elevation, power 5 numbers. Like I said, on the drive, tweak it depending on the wind angle. That is the middle angle that I've given you here in this playthrough. So I hope that helps dial in. A very easy eagle on this par 4. Very, very close here. The adjustment I'm giving you on the notepad is a tweak. We're going to start with the basic ball, adding 6 backspin. Then we switch to a Kingmaker. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to add any unintentional side. From the P3 minline position, I then push up to have the first instance where the red ring touches the rough on the left and the right simultaneously. So make sure you're in the right position there. And like I said, adding spin with a basic ball. Min plus 20, power 0 is the tweaked adjustment that I'm going to give you here. Sadly, in this example, I use a slightly different adjustment, and I very unfortunately lip out for the hole in 1. Once again, middle angle shown here, so you might need to put some wind angle tweaks in if you get more of a tailwind or more of a crosswind angle. But min plus 20, power 0 settings would be the tweaked adjustment based on the miss here in the video. Either way, it's a very, very safe birdie, not threatening any of the rough either side. I would think a minor great right should still be fine. Double great right may not be though, but a nice good chance of a safe birdie, if not the hole in 1. On this par 5, going to go with a Titan, 5.8 topspin, 1 right spin. Then we find our position, top of plus 10 with APOC 5 and above, P3 max with APOC 4. Look at where my ball guide is pointing. Down the middle of the fairway, pointing towards the right-hand side of those rocks up ahead. So pause the video, get some references, make sure you line up in the same point, pointing at the same thing once your spins are added. Max plus 10, power 3 numbers. You don't have to use a Titan, but these adjustments have been worked out with a Titan wind strength in mind. If it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable to go with a Kingmaker, or indeed a different ball with precision, then go with that instead. These are all a basis for you to work from. Max plus 10, like I said, power 3, going with circle drop over power. So just where the circle drops, but not when it's breaking. Perfect ball, of course, here. As always, want to try and hit perfect here. Bounces comfortably before the rough, down towards the rough there and rolls on. Drive distance of 396. Second shot, Cataclysm or Big Dog. Go with a top spin here. 7 top spin, 2 right spin. I wouldn't go with any more than 7 in case you get a glitch roll, but 6 top spin would suffice if that is all you have available. With the Cat 6, setting up with a blue ring touching the rough. But if you've got different accuracies, just look at that first bounce and the second bounce. Make sure you're not setting up too close to any of the rough here, because you don't want to risk it with a great right. Give yourself some room. This is just a case of getting it down towards the fringe for a simple wedge. Max +5. I've tested this with higher winds. I still don't pull into Goliath range here, but obviously if by any stretch of the imagination you do that, you can adapt accordingly, setting up a little bit further on. I still think there's room here. Going with about 1.25 balls of right curl just before the circle drops as your overpower reference, and we hit perfect. Bouncing comfortably away from the rough, second bounce also comfortably away from the rough, and it's going to leave you a very simple Endbringer School wedge. Thank you for watching this video on the Winter Springs tournament here on the channel as part of BK Golf Clash Step Up Week. I hope it helps you if you are stepping up a division. Please share it with your friends as well, and join us on Facebook. Free guides and also links to paid guides, as I mentioned in the intro, to help you there as well. Shot sharing, discussion points and other posts. Looking forward to seeing you there. Good luck everybody. Bye for now.